It's fascinating getting online. I'm sure you've done this, Damo. You're talking to people in America, and I had even people who like Bernie Sanders, they're hearing that narrative that he's not electable, and I'm sure we all have seen the research, read the research that in all those electability, likability, he comes out on top and all of those things. I had one just the other day, and I'm sure this makes complete sense to us Kiwis. It's like, where Bernie Sanders is, what he's offering, our last right-wing, quote-unquote, right-wing Prime Minister, John Key, supported interest-free student loans, working for families package, same-sex marriage. These are our right-wingers. You Americans need to understand this is not far left. This is actually the norm for the rest of the world.
But it suits their narrative. I mean, it pigeonholes them. It suits their narrative. They compare it to Venezuela and all the other, failures. And that I mean, Trump is very, very good at marketing. His three-word catchphrases. His nicknames, they just catch. And I mean, that's marketing 101. If there's one thing he is good at, it's that. So it gives them that narrative and it suits them. It doesn't make sense and it's not necessarily true, but I think truth sailed a long time ago in America.
It'll be interesting to see whether, that whole when they go low, we go high, and then that changed to when they go low, we go lower. What Bernie would do against Trump, or what Biden. I think Biden would go low. I think we've seen that against Trump. I don't know. It'll be interesting if there was a clash of Bernie versus Trump, how that would pan out. We're probably getting ahead of ourselves. We're still talking primaries, but
my own sense is he gave a glimpse of his approach to tackling Trump in an interview recently on CNN. And he said that one of his major tasks would be to point out the discrepancy between what Trump has promised and what he's actually delivered. Yeah. And I think he would probably stick to the issues in that sense.
Yeah.
And
there's plenty there, isn't there?
Yeah.
There really is.
Massive. He gave a litany just in a 55-second soundbite of all the promises and the reality. And there's a huge discrepancy.
That's the other thing that Trump does brilliantly. He makes it a cult of personality, and no one talks about actual infrastructure or healthcare or anything like that. The other thing, just on healthcare, I think that where it may really play into Bernie's hands is with COVID-19. Suddenly, healthcare for everyone is going to be, we're 18 months away from doing anything serious and meaningful about that. That obviously is going to play into the hands of Sanders.
Yeah, and
that's a really interesting point.
It also makes things like early voting and stuff. I heard a commentator today say there has been early voting because people don't want to go into groups of people for coronavirus, and early voting in these states should be helping Sanders.